Imagine a battle of epic proportions, a clash of titanic forces, an orchestra of chaos and destruction. The stage? A battlefield sprawling with soldiers, mages, and mythical creatures. The Emperor, sensing the grim tide of the battle, commands his forces to shield the valiant adventurers in the California army. They form a bulwark, a human fortress against the onslaught of the Storm Dragon and its allies. The Shadow King, a master of manipulation, readies himself for a critical strike. But before his plans can take form, a figure emerges from the ranks of the adventurers. This is no ordinary warrior. He is a legend, the last champion, armored in history and armed with a sword born of myth and fire. The battlefield becomes his arena, and the Storm Dragon's forces his opponents. Recognizing the formidable warrior, the Shadow King dispatches his most powerful minions to halt the last champion's advance. Yet our champion fights with the strength of the ages, turning the tide of the battle single-handedly. The Storm Dragon, sensing the shift, takes to the skies. It begins to channel the ley line's raw power, a desperate gambit to regain control. The Shadow King, a smirk playing on his lips, is all too aware of the Storm Dragon's plan. A devastating spell, capable of pulverizing everything within miles, is being prepared. His minions are ordered to halt the last champion, while he braces for the impending cataclysm. Unbeknownst to the last champion, he is in a race against time as he carves his path through the Shadow King's minions. His sword, a bolt of lightning, his armor, a beacon in the gloom of battle. He can sense the Storm Dragon's malevolent energy growing stronger, colder. The Shadow King, growing desperate, sends forth his mightiest servants, the Lich King, the Vampire Queen, and the Demon Lord. They throw themselves at the last champion, but he is a storm, a tempest, a force of nature. Meanwhile, the Storm Dragon's power peaks. It focuses the energy into a ball of pure destruction. The Shadow King calls for a retreat, forming a defensive line around the Emperor and his forces. The last champion, oblivious to the Storm Dragon's scheme, pushes onward. As he reaches the Storm Dragon, the Shadow King smirks, confident of the impending doom. With a roar that shakes the mountains, the Storm Dragon looses its deadly spell. The last champion, realizing the danger too late, attempts to parry the attack. A collision of unimaginable power ensues and a blinding flash engulfs the battlefield. When the light fades, the last champion lies still on the ground, his armor battered, his sword broken. What comes next for the last champion? Is this the end of his epic tale or just another chapter in his legendary story? Only time will tell.